Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, my name is Uni Febriandaru. I come from E class. In this occasion, I will analyze from a story called Rapunzel, which is a child born to a husband and wife who had previously resigned to destiny. But it turns out later the wife is pregnant and gives birth to a beautiful princess who has very long hair. So, when we analyze the story, of course, there is a plot which consists of exposition, conflict, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. And each story must have a plot that can be analyzed. And for example, in this Rapunzel story. Okay, and now I will begin to analyze the plot of Rapunzel's story. So, for the first one, I will discuss is the exposition. The exposition of Rapunzel's story is a couple who want to have a child, but they haven't been given by God, and they are almost desperate. Then there is a window at the back of their house which can see a beautiful view, and there is a building that has high walls where no one dares to enter because there is evil wizard. So for the second is rising action. Then the rising action in the Rapunzel story is when the wife is eager to eat the rampion owned by an evil witch, and she will die if she doesn't eat it. The husband tries hard to take the rampion for his wife, but when the husband takes the rampion, he is shocked and surprised because the witch stood in front of him. And then he told the witch about the state of his wife. Then the witch also allowed her husband to take a rampion for his wife, but with one condition that must be done. So the second rising action is when the king's son listened to the melodian music voice of the tower, and he wished to find out, then he follows the witch to find a way to find out. Okay, so for the next is climax. The climax in Rapunzel's story is when the witch gives one condition to her husband that he has to do. That is to give their child when she is born into this world in return for taking a rampion without permission from the witch. Then, when Rapunzel is even 12 years old, the witch invites her and puts in a high tower which has no doors and no windows. Okay, so for the next is falling action. The falling action here is told that the king's son didn't find Rapunzel because he had been taken away by the witch, and he didn't know where it went. Then he tried to jump from the top of the tower, which caused him to be blind, and with that state he couldn't see anything and only could eat what he found. The king's son continued to walk with all his strength in order to find the idol's Rapunzel, and he walked toward a place where he met Rapunzel. Okay, so for the next is conflict. Then the conflict is between Rapunzel and herself. Because when the Rapunzel wanted to run away with the king's son, because there was already an agreement between the two of them. Actually, he had wanted to leave the tower for a long time, but she didn't know how to get down from the tower. Then the son of the king gave away, so she could go down and go with the king's son, but the witch didn't want if the Rapunzel left him and went with the king's child. Okay, so the last is resolution. The resolution is the resolution in Rapunzel's story is ending with a happy ending because in the end the king's son meets with Rapunzel and with happy tears then the king's son invites her to a palace full of happiness and they live peaceful all day to the end. Okay, for the next is point of view. The point of view is Rapunzel or the main character because the author tells detail how is her life from the first she born to this world until the end of the story that he has a happy ending in her life. Okay, for the next is characters and traits. The character in this story, there are three characters. The first is Rapunzel, who has a beautiful face, long hair, and has a hard effort in getting all his desire, despite many problems faced by her. So the second is a king's son who has a good nature and not give up easily, have a high desire and always try to get up in all his affairs. And finally is the witch who has a cunning, greedy, and has a jealous nature to the king's son because he thinks that Rapunzel shouldn't be happy with others. Okay, for the next is setting of place. The place of Rapunzel's story has occurred in the forest, and the second is at the high tower that located in the forest. Okay, for the next is the theme. The theme of this Rapunzel story is the Rapunzel and a charming witch, which is the author told the story from the first Rapunzel's born to this world and told a charming witch, which is would take Rapunzel and put her in the high tower. So the Rapunzel is separate from her parents and she wants to live with the people she loves. Okay, for the next is the symbol. The symbol of this story is sword that refers to a power because Rapunzel and the king's son tried to live for themselves and get struggled to meet each other. Then protection, which tells of Rapunzel who tried to protect himself from the witch, and also the king's son who protect himself for survival. Okay, so for the last is the message of the story. The message that we can take from the story is that every human being must have happiness and must struggle in getting happiness. Also must try to get what we dreams of. There should be no despair in chasing dreams in his life until reach it. So everyone must try to get the dream and must not have the greedy nature of everything they want and must not be trying to fool someone or some each other. Okay, maybe enough. It's the analysis of Rapunzel story. Okay, thanks for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.